So you want to hear about Mez?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to go buy a property, right? Mm-hmm. And you're going to buy it for $1 million, right? And you need 200 down and you need 200 in CapEx. So you need 400. So at some point, you got to come up with 400K to buy that property and fix it up. Mm-hmm. Once you fixed it up, it's worth $2.2 million. Now, once you fixed it up and got it rented, you're going to have to go through something called seasoning, which means you can't walk into Bank of America and say, give me a new loan on this property, and I want to pull out $1.4 million. So you could go find a Mez partner or a Mez lender and say, hey, why don't you come in for 250K? I've got 800 on the first, and I got 1.4 million in equity. Why don't you come in for 250? Allows me to pull some of my capital out, go buy another one and do it all over again, and you get 20% or whatever you negotiate. Mm-hmm. You're secured as a Mez lender in the project, meaning can't sell it or can't refinance it unless you get paid. You are a lender, and the reality is, if we were to default, you would make $1 million.
Okay.
Does it seem low risk?
Yeah.
At least as I presented it, right?
Yeah.
So Mez lenders traditionally are bear traps. Why are they bear traps?
Because the money gets trapped in there?
No, because they hope you fail and they default and they scoop up the $1 million.
Oh, okay.
We're back to the group you talked to when you walked in, which was all the people that are hoping you fail. So you will find if you want to go develop a $100 million building, you will get $65 million from Bank of America, right? And they'll say, as long as you bring in 20 million, we'll loan you the 65 million. Mm-hmm. That Mez group is going to take 50% of your deal for bringing in 20% of the money.
It's a good deal for them.
And they hope you don't perform, because then they'll swoop in and take your profit.
Okay.
That's what Mez lending traditionally is.
Okay.
Now, Mez lenders can do very well because, I mean, private first right now are running 12% plus 4 points for 6 months or 3 points for 6 months. So they're really, private lending is running at 20% right now.
Well, so is Mez lending a subset of private?
It is a sublet. There's only about, good question, only about 10% of the people out there in the whole world do Mez or subordinated debt.
Meaning like second position, third position?
Second position, yeah. Because here's the problem. If you have 800K in a first, right? If you're subordinated and we stop paying on that, you got to go clear the 800 to protect your position. But if there's 1 million in equity, I guarantee you're going to fucking go find 800K to take the $1 million, which is where the bear trap comes into. You're like, yeah, I hope he fails, because then I'll capitalize on his entire.
In worst case scenario, I get my 20%.
Right, worst case you get 20% or whatever. Okay.
Okay. That's
You never heard of Mez lending?
I've never really. We've never done a deal. I've never been.
Okay, let's do it this way. Okay. So you can buy this property for $1 million. I need 200 down. I need 200 in fix up. I need 400K. You want to be my partner? And you can get 50% of the upside. Or if you just like 24%, because that's a huge rate, you can be a Mez partner, Mez lender. Now, you say, fine, here's 400K, 800K first, record you as 400 in the second, and we're going to make it worth $2.2 million. The moment we buy it and tear it apart, you have risk. Why do you have risk?
Because if you just kind of stop, then it's not even worth the $1 million you bought it for.
Correct.
And it's definitely not worth the
Two, yes. So at the moment you tear it apart and tear the whole engine out of the car and put all the parts everywhere in the garage, fuck, we got problems.
Yeah.
Where's the mechanic? Here's our mechanic, he's smoking shrooms, and fuck, what did he do with all the pieces?
Yeah.
We've destroyed the house, the triplex, the apartment building, but as soon as it's finished, it's worth 2.2. So that 400 has risk at the moment it is deployed because you tear it all apart. So that is a risk of a men's lender that if any point during that point, you could be exposed.
Okay.
So that's if you're coming into a project, you're going to be a mezz lender day one. If I come to you and say, I just finished a project for 2.2, I owe 800, and I'd like you to throw in 200K in a mezz, you have $1.2 million in security. Do you think I'm going to default on $1.2 million in security?
When it's worth that much?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not. You're pretty well protected.
Yeah.
The assignment was find somebody to bring in $200,000 on a $2.2 million asset with the $800,000 first, so that we can move the capital and do another project, so we can stabilize it till it's seasoned and refinance it. Mm-hmm. So that was the project that we gave them, and they all struck out because explaining or selling that is very difficult. Mm-hmm. Now, if you can find the frequency of people that do that, it's a good ad.